How's it going, everyone? Quite a bit of news circulating right now regarding Ubisoft potentially revealing a bunch of new games, a couple of them kind of surprising, and also planning a massive showcase this year. This is coming from reliable leaker Tom Henderson, which we'll talk about in a little bit, and also want to give you guys an update on patch 1.52 for CyberPunk 2077. I know you guys are sometimes sick of me talking about CyberPunk, maybe talking it up a bit much. You guys know the rhetoric. May have been garbage at launch, especially on the PlayStation 4. It's actually okay on PC, but the updates are rolling out, and now at $15, you're consistently getting a better experience, so we'll talk about that in a little bit. But first of all, Ubisoft reportedly working on a bunch of stuff. Okay, so we know stuff like Assassin's Creed Infinity, Mario, Rabbids Sparks of Hope, Beyond Good and Evil 2, I don't know if we're ever gonna see that game. It seemingly has been in development hell for years. Maybe it's not in development hell. Maybe it's progressing pretty nicely. There is reportedly a third entry in The Crew coming, reportedly also being referred to as Project Orlando. Crew 2 just entered like its 5th year of support. There's actually a dedicated community of people playing The Crew 2, and Ubisoft has been committed to that franchise, so credit to them. Other stuff that I found interesting is that it looks to be that there is a brand new Prince of Persia title in development. Now, this is not the Sands of Time remake. That game was supposed to come out, that remake was supposed to come out back in January. It got delayed, and I don't know what's going on with that game. Hopefully, we hear about that soon, but... And by the way, when I said January, I believe Sands of Time remake was supposed to come out in January of 2021, so... hopefully that game is still progressing along nicely. You gotta be a little bit worried when things like that happen. However, it looks like they're also doing a 2.5D Prince of Persia title, and it will be taking inspiration from Ori. That sounds pretty interesting to me. You know, we've seen titles like the Assassin's Creed platforming action titles. Hopefully we get something a little bit more in-depth with a new Prince of Persia title. And also, it looks like that pre-production for a sequel on an Immortals Fenyx Rising sequel is coming as well, which I find very interesting. Immortals Fenyx Rising is a game that a lot of people enjoyed, but it seemingly did not have that commercial reception, at least from, you know, what I saw. I didn't think that game sold all too well. Maybe that's just me looking at the game and seeing that it rocketed down in price very, very quickly, even quickly for a Ubisoft title, which typically they go down in price pretty quickly, but hey, the people that did play Immortals Fenyx Rising really did enjoy it, so a sequel for that could be pretty good. Some titles look like they're going to be coming a little bit sooner, like The Division Heartland. That's expected within the next 12 months, and again, looks like Ubisoft does have a massive reveal event coming where they're going to show off a lot of these games. You know, Ubisoft is a publisher that I haven't been super high on these last few years. Assassin's Creed went the route that it did. Not really for me anymore. I can find some enjoyment out of the games, but that was my favorite franchise out of Ubisoft, and it's really not for me anymore. You know, games like The Crew, Steep, they didn't really hit home with me, and I'm not like a huge Far Cry fan. Like, I can enjoy the games, but not a huge fan, but we'll see how it turns out. You know, The Division is a big IP still. We'll see how Division Heartland turns out. Immortals Fenyx Rising, a sequel for that, is a pleasant surprise. And Prince of Persia is a franchise that I absolutely love. I want to get that Sands of Time remake. I want to see what this 2.5D game can be, and if it's taking inspiration from Ori, that is a very, very good thing, and I think that has a lot of potential for the future. But, yeah, Ubisoft is one of those publishers that I just haven't been super connected with over the past few years. You know, Tom Clancy went its route, Splinter Cell, that is, I should say, and hopefully that game turns out pretty nicely, but Splinter Cell's been MIA for a long time. Assassin's Creed went the route that it did, and a couple of the new IPs that I have enjoyed, Child of Light, Valiant Hearts, The Great War, those games were kind of one-and-dones. Immortals Fenyx Rising, I thought was going to be a one-and-done, but hey, that game getting a sequel, that is actually pretty cool. I really did enjoy that game, so... more on that, hopefully, in the coming months, and hopefully we do see that event sooner rather than later. Alright, moving on from that, do want to quickly know, patch 1.52 for Cyberpunk 2077 is being rolled out right now, coming with a plethora of fixes on the gameplay, quests, open world, UI, visual, and console-specific issues are being fixed as well. I'm not going to go through everything. I'll leave a link in the description box below. Let's talk some gameplay fixes. Fixed an issue that could cause wrecked cars or multiple nomad cars to spawn in traffic when driving fast. Fixed an issue where first equipment animation could be played repeatedly after recovering a throwing knife. The armor media ballistic vest can now be found as loot in Japantown. Fixed an issue where the recon grenade highlighted non-hostile crowds NPCs. Fixed an issue where after using the take control quick hack on a device camera axis were inverted when zoom in. A lot of quest fixes. I won't go through that. Those are specific quests. Open world fixes. Fixed an issue where summoned vehicles could be spawned far away from the player. Fixed an issue where assault in progress wasn't visible on the map. A bunch of fixes for gigs, UI fixes. You've got, again, visual fixes, and as far as console-specific fixes, a lot of fixes on the PlayStation 5 side of things. Importing a save while not connected to the PlayStation Network will no longer block the option to continue the game. Fixed an issue where a corrupted save was created when a player tried to import a PlayStation 4 save when no saves were exported. Fixed an issue where the press options to continue screen registered by pressing the button with a delay. Wet roads will now be as reflective as on the PC version. So, quite nice to see this. Again, CyberPunk 2077 is not a game you spend $60 for. It's been 15 months since the game came out. You can now get it readily available for $15 to $25, and at that price point, it is a pretty enjoyable RPG. Hopefully, with Witcher moving to Unreal Engine 5, that game will launch without any issues in the next half decade to a decade. But as far as Cyberpunk goes, hopefully they do get that expansion out. Hopefully that is of quality, and hopefully they do continue to update it, make the game better, and then, you know, even a year down the line, 2 years down the line, there's like a Cyberpunk 2077 Complete Edition, Game of the Year. You can't do Game of the Year Edition. Let us not do a Cyberpunk 2077 Game of the Year Edition. CD Projekt Red, do not do that. Do a Complete Edition, and yeah, we can go from there. And if that's down to like 10 to 15 bucks, just like The Witcher 3 is, then I really see the rhetoric to shift more than it already has. I mean, if you look at Cyberpunk 2077 now, the Twitter comments, the social media comments are all like, hey, does anybody think Cyberpunk 2077 is a better game than everybody gave it credit for in December? Well, it was in a much different state in December, but that's gonna do it for me. Again, Ubisoft looking to have a big event with a bunch of game reveals coming up within the next few months, hopefully. Prince of Persia, hopefully Sands of Time is still progressing nicely. Hopefully Beyond Good and Evil 2 is still alive, man. That's a game that I know a lot of more hardcore consumers would be like very excited for. Assassin's Creed, obviously, that's going to keep trucking along. Immortals Phoenix Rising getting a sequel, I think, is rather interesting. And then again, Cyberpunk 2077 getting a host of patches and updates with patch 1.52 rolling out. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.